Well, how cool is this? I'm here with the man who actually designed the 1966 Toranado, David North. David, how are you?
Real good.
Well, it's a thrill to have you here.
Well, it's good to be here. Beautiful cars.
He heard about my car, and he contacted me, and I was thrilled to hear from him. Tell us about designing this car.
Well, this was a real personality car. And back in the era when these cars were done, all of the General Motors divisions were really competing with each other. And like children in a family trying to get your attention, they were very much aware of what the other child got.
Right, right.
And Oldsmobile was very jealous of Buick's success with the Riviera and also Pontiac with the Grand Prix. They wanted their special car. And Oldsmobile was always known as an inventive car and was doing more of the cutting edge stuff. So an obvious way to separate their cars, front wheel drive. When it came to the look of the car, and that's what we did, that was pretty inventive too, because at that time, all cars were kind of a philosophy of a box on a box. You had the lower, and then you had an upper. There was another box that sat on it with a definite break in surface between the top and the bottom. The feeling was if you did all the way from the top to the bottom, it would be boring. The thing that made the Toranado work is after it came up off of the wheels, it quickly went inboard, so you had these huge flares.
This is my favorite part of this car.
Yeah, it's kind of essential.
This is one of the most copied things I've seen in cars.
Right,
since.
and particularly contemporary cars are onto that a lot. Car was very controversial when it came out. It wasn't really commercially successful. We always had kind of a benchmark, and that was if a car either was loved or hated, but very little middle ground, we were successful.
How different were the sketches from the final product? Did anybody, when you guys came out, did anybody go, "Oh, that's too outrageous"?
Well, we lucked out on that too, because we didn't really know this car was going to come into production. So there wasn't a lot of committee work.
Right.
It pretty much came from an original concept right on to the finished product, which was unusual. And maybe that's why the car looks as clean as it does. There wasn't a lot of compromise. There weren't people saying, let's do a little of this, a little of that.
Like to me, the 66 is the purest year. 67 was okay, and then as it got older and older, it like most Americans, it got fatter and wider. And this was the best year. I love the eyebrows here and the pop-up headlights.
Right. Well, you know, sometimes the first idea is the best idea, and if you fool with it, you lose it. So this one, particularly this generation, turned out real well. When we did the 67, and I was involved in that too, the general manager of Olds said, hey, I don't want another one of these sports cars, because this wasn't commercially successful.
Oh, really? I thought it was a big hit when it came out. I know it won Pikes Peak, right?
Money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, what happened was the car got blackballed because Consumer's Guide did an article that said it didn't have any brakes. It had disc brakes or drum brakes first year. And that killed the resale value. Well, to counteract that, GM hired the Unser family to run Pikes Peak with it. And then they could see that the brakes were good. If you could run on Pikes Peak, you could run anywhere. But it was kind of too late for this car. And so the 71 became more of a homogenized version of it.
Is this one of your favorites?
Yeah, sentimentally it is. And I love, you know, I love what Jay did. I told Jay the other day, you did more for Toranado than I ever did. I heard you got a little heat because you did rear-wheel drive. Doesn't mean anything to me, the car.
It's the design.
It's the design, yeah, right.
This is Dad.